My peoples, you already know what it is, man. JSmiff in the flesh. Welcome to Box Center, your favorite boxers, favorite boxing show. Yo, man, I seen that Virgil Ortiz is actually open to making that fight happen with Terrence Crawford. You know, that's actually a fight that a lot of fans have been asking for. You know, Virgil Ortiz, Terrence Crawford. Um, People been asking for that since Crawford was campaigning at 147. And I remember Virgil Ortiz was his mandatory. I don't remember. I think it was for the WBO. I'm not sure. So, that fight didn't happen in the welterweight division. Now Crawford is a champion at 154. And we see that Virgil Ortiz already made his debut. So both fighters already debuted in the 154 division, which means that a fight between them is possible. Now, before Virgil Ortiz fought, De La Hoya did agree with His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh that, if he wins, Terrence Bud Crawford would be next, and he won. So there you have it. I was watching Blue Blood Sports earlier, and he said that, Virgil Ortiz is now open to making a fight with Terrence Bud Crawford. I want to see it, man. That's definitely, one of those fights where you have the young, hungry lion, undefeated. Virgil is. So you can expect a heck of a fight between Virgil Ortiz and Terrence Crawford. I want to see that. You know what I'm saying? Woo, my boy Uncle Paulie. What's good, my guy? Yo, man, I seen that Virgil Ortiz and Terrence Crawford may get it on. I would love to see that fight, man. What you think? From Florida? Aye. What's good, XWX? Appreciate you hopping on with me, my boy. You already know what it is, man. We talking boxing. My people's Box Center. Your favorite boxers. Favorite boxing show. Go ahead and subscribe, man. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, trust me, you want to tune in. I am the plug. Trust me on that. So, check it, man. I've been talking about Virgil Ortiz and Bud Crawford. We may actually get that fight. And I know y'all remember a while back, I'm talking about before Crawford versus Spence and everything. A lot of people were calling for Crawford to fight Virgil Ortiz. There you have it. We might finally get that fight. I want it. And, I think Virgil is going to be more competitive versus Crawford. I think a lot of people are going to judge him for his debut in the 154 division. Like, oh, he didn't do good. They're doing the same thing to Crawford. At the end of the day, I think that Virgil Ortiz versus Terrence Crawford is a heck of a fight. Bad matchup for Virgil. You know what? It might very well be a bad matchup, to be honest. But I think he could be competitive. And, of course, I'm picking Bud to win that fight. That's for sure. Yo, Uncle Paulie, I'm going to be honest. I agree with you, my boy. I think Crawford would knock him out, too. I think he would. Now, what do you guys think? Satisfied Forever. Malaikum salam, my brother. What do you guys think, about Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez? Because if he's, we're expecting for him to get past Virgil, right? And we're expecting Canelo to also get past Berlanga. What happens? Do you guys think that we might get Canelo versus Crawford? I know a lot of people saying we don't want that fight, but there's also a lot of people saying we want to see it. We want to know what's going to happen. You already know Bud fights better with guys going straight forward than slick fighters. I agree with you. Because the thing is, Crawford is a great counterpuncher. He's going to catch you coming in and boom, counterpunch you. He does that a lot. He did it versus Spence. He did it in his last fight. And you know that a slick boxer is also looking to counter punch you. So you kind of have to, figure out your way to outbox him as opposed to use his own aggression against him. So I agree with you 100%. If Bud looks great versus Virgil, probably can get Canelo. My thoughts on Danny Garcia. Listen, man, I got a lot of respect for Danny Garcia because he's one of those fighters who's shown that he's willing to fight everybody. Obviously, Danny, he's a guy that he's accomplished a lot. He want to get paid right, so you got to show him the money. But he's shown he willing to fight everybody and anybody. So I got mad respect for Danny Garcia. He's going to be fighting Erislandy Lara for a title. So, he's going to have the opportunity to make more history. Talking about now another division where he's able to become a champion. And that would even, I believe, open up the buzz about him and Terence Crawford. Because now they'll be champions in the same division at the same time. A lot of people don't know or maybe don't even remember that Danny Garcia and Terence Crawford, they fought in the amateurs. They split. They fought twice and Crawford beat him twice. And, I don't remember if they split 1-1, but I think Bud beat him twice. And, besides that, they've gone back and forth on social media a lot. Remember when Crawford was with Top Rank and Danny Garcia was like, show me the money, blah, blah, blah. So I think Danny Garcia, Terence Crawford having history with each other and, both being top level fighters, I would like to see that fight, to be honest with y'all. So I get what you're saying about, Canelo being the naturally bigger fighter. But here's what I want people to take into consideration. And this is no cap. I'm not hating, nothing like that. Just please take these words into consideration, my people. Canelo is a small 168 pounder. Canelo's not a big dude, my peoples. Every fighter that Canelo faced in the 168 division has been bigger than him. He's not a big dude. And Terence Crawford walks around in the 160s and even 170s when he's between fights. So what I'm trying to tell you is, Canelo's not much bigger than Crawford, my peoples. When you see them next to each other, you can't even tell that he's bigger. So when we talk about there's weight classes for a reason and 168 and divisions, we're talking like Crawford is this little guy and Canelo's huge. Canelo's not a big dude, my peoples. Canelo is a small 168 pounder. Remember that he moved up from the 154 division. He's not a big guy. So, I think when Terence Crawford and Canelo fight each other, if they fight each other, people are going to be surprised with how close in size they are. Because everybody's talking about how much bigger Canelo is. And in reality, he's not that much bigger than Bud, my peoples. Crawford has longer reach than Canelo, and he's slightly taller. And then weight-wise, he's about the same. His walk-around weight is in the 160s, 170s. So, the notion that Canelo is huge, nah, my peoples. Canelo's not a big dude. So I think that fight, when they face off against each other, people are going to be surprised how close they look. Bud might actually look bigger than Canelo. Put it to you like that. And that's no cap. All you have to do is look at them. Look at their size. That's cap. He don't walk around at no 190. That's cap. He don't walk around at no 190s. Canelo was able to fight off Bivol. You think Buck can fight off Bivol? Think about it. What are you talking about? Bivol beat the shit out Canelo. Bivol put the beats on him. Like, that's not even a good example, my guy. Bivol showed what Floyd Mayweather showed. And it's that you don't need power to beat Canelo. You just need to outbox him. And Terence Crawford has the skills to outbox him. Bivol showed my point. Now, don't get it twisted, my peoples, because I respect the great fighters. Again, remember, Box Center, your favorite boxers, favorite boxing show. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, my people, subscribe. We got this exclusive boxing content for you. But like I was saying, my peoples, listen, I got mad respect for Canelo. Don't get it twisted. I'm not the type of person that need to diminish a fighter or discredit a fighter in order to give someone else their flowers. No. I believe that Canelo is one of the greatest of this era. Canelo is one of the greatest Mexican fighters of all time. That's a fact. So if somebody told me, yo, I believe that Canelo is going to win that fight, yo, I don't got a problem with that at all, because he's supposed to be the favorite. But all I'm telling you is, if you think Canelo's going to go in there and wash Terrence Bud Crawford, you got something else coming. It's not going to go down like that at all. You know what I'm saying? Canelo is one of the greatest, but Terrence Crawford is also one of the greatest. He just hasn't gotten his flowers because people refuse to give it to him. But Terrence Bud Crawford has the tools and resources to beat Canelo. That's my opinion. If your opinion is the opposite, I respect that, because Canelo's a great fighter. He a GOAT. You know what I'm saying? So I know that most people are going to expect Canelo to win that fight. So you're saying Canelo lasted the 12 rounds, and can Crawford last the 12 rounds? I mean, Terrence Crawford ain't never been knocked out. Why would I think that he's not going to be able to last 10 rounds? He's never been stopped in his career. Of course I believe that he'll be able to go the distance with Bivol. Of course. No, listen. So Uncle Paulie, I agree with you about, Pacquiao should have got fed to Crawford. But to my understanding, Bob did want that fight to happen. And it was Manny. He was not ready to pass the torch. And that's kind of like what they was trying to do, pass the torch to Terrence Crawford, and now he's going to be the man. But Pac-Man, he had his own plans. He wasn't ready to pass the torch, and we saw that he became champion again when he beat Keith Thurman. So, he wasn't ready to hand it over to Bud. Come on, look, you're saying yes, but he has touched the canvas before. Now, I want you to think about this so you can see how easily I debunk that narrative. Terrence Crawford has 40 fights. And in 40 fights, people still bringing up Gamboa. How many years ago he fought Gamboa in the 130 division? And Mean Machine, how many years ago that fight took place? Out of 40 fights, people bring up the 2 times that Crawford got buzzed. 40 fights. He got buzzed twice. And y'all gonna say, oh, nah, like, that just shows you how tough of a fighter Terrence Crawford is. That shows you the type of chin he got. Yo, buzzed twice in 40 fights. But people act like every time Crawford step in the ring, he getting wobbled. Come on now. His hands touched the canvas when? How many years ago his hands touched the canvas? And how many times? So that's weak. That's a weak narrative from Terrence Crawford haters. Like, oh, look. Come on. Hell yeah. Yo, Gamboa it wasn't the same washed up Gamboa that Devin Haney and Tank Davis fought. That was the undefeated version of Gamboa that was beating everybody he was facing. That man didn't know how to lose when he stepped in the ring with Terrence Crawford. But Buzz showed him how to lose. See, y'all seen it. Those are the same guys compared to Bivol. All right, but, Bivol is not, I don't think that's a good comparison simply because he's at 175 and Terrence Crawford is never going to fight at 175. So in reality, Bivol shouldn't even be coming up. That's who Canelo fought and beat his ass. That has nothing to do with Canelo and Crawford. I agree. I agree. They do have. The thing is that, and I'm talking to you, Uncle Paulie. The thing is that Cubans, they're not able to turn pro. Like in Cuba, you can only be an amateur boxer. That's why they leave Cuba, and when they leave, they can turn pro in the States or whatever country they go to. But Cuba doesn't allow them to turn pro. So these guys, they have. That's why Cuba has one of the best amateur programs in the world. And every year, at the World Championships, at the every 4 years at the Olympics, Cuba always shows out. That's why. They don't let them make money. Foment, those guys were small. Which guys were small? I didn't get that, my boy. Now, since I'm seeing that Virgil Ortiz may actually end up fighting Terrence Crawford, I'm already trying to figure out the excuses that the fans are going to have when Crawford wins that fight. I'm going to remind y'all, a few years ago, some of these same fans were saying that Virgil was going to beat Crawford, that Virgil was bigger and stronger than Crawford. Now that the fight is actually going to happen, I've already seen some of the excuses. Oh, he's not ready for Bud. Oh, what had happened was he made his debut at 154, which Crawford also made his debut at 154. So they debuted in the division at the same time. Nobody could say, oh, Crawford has been there and he settled in and then Virgil came. They went up at the same time to that division. So I'm not sure what's going to be the excuse if Crawford stopped Virgil or whatever. I'm pretty sure there's going to be excuses as to why and reasons why people don't want to give Crawford his credit for that win. Crawford's supposed to beat Virgil? I mean, that depends. You see, that's your opinion. But there's people who have the opinion that Virgil is supposed to beat Crawford. There's people that actually have that opinion. Just like right now, all you hear is that Crawford was supposed to beat Spence because Spence wasn't the same anymore. It's the same people who told me for 3 years that Spence was going to knock him out, who decided that he wasn't the same anymore after Crawford gave him the beating of a lifetime. So, it's real easy to have an opinion after the fights happen. But before the fight happened, people say one thing, and then afterwards, they change that tune right away. You know what I'm saying? They change that tune. So we have to keep that same energy. If we're saying this is going to happen, well, if it doesn't happen, when do we say, damn, I was wrong? I was wrong about Crawford. He is that guy. Nope. Instead of I was wrong, well, Errol Spence had the accident years ago and he had the eye surgery and he smoked a blunt the other day. His cat died. I don't know how many excuses people had. That shit was crazy. Crazy. By the way, I don't know if y'all seen it, but Ryan Garcia asked Turki Al-Sheikh, His Excellency, to make the rematch with Devin Haney. Now, we know that Ryan is banned from boxing for a year, but, I guess when he comes back, that rematch is probably going to get made. It'll probably get done in Saudi Arabia. If they make that rematch happen, who are you guys picking to win that fight? Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney? Because we already know about the whole steroid situation. You have to ask yourself, did Ryan Garcia actually take tainted supplements, or was he cheating purposely? Because tainted supplements would not give him an advantage in the fight. It would not be enough to affect, his performance. So if he takes supplements, come fight night in the rematch, he's going to be able to perform the same way. We have to be able to determine that. What I will tell you guys is that I was I wasn't writing Ryan Garcia off. In a way, I felt like Haney was supposed to outbox him, but I wasn't just writing him off because he got that power. But I was not expecting for him to keep catching Dev with that left hook over and over and over. Like even before the fight, Devin said, "All you got is that left hook." So it's crazy that he kept getting clipped with it, and Ryan showed us that he got that power. And we've seen that power from Ryan his whole career. So for the rematch, I expect him to bring that power with him. So Dev is going to have to outbox him. So that's the magic question, my peoples. Is Devin Haney going to be able to outbox Ryan Garcia for 12 rounds and stay away from that left hook? What do you think? That's gonna be a heck of a fight, man. You gotta wonder if it's gonna play out exactly the same way. Is Ryan gonna pummel Devin and maybe this time even stop him? Because he's gonna come in. I believe in the rematch, Ryan Garcia is gonna come in a lot more confident. And that could play for or against him. You don't know until the fight actually happens. But I really want to see how that rematch is going to play out. Tanner Supplements is facts. He took the company he put down, saying they came like that was damn the company come out and spoke about it. So let's see, because even if he took Tanner Supplements, we don't know how much Tanner Supplements he took. It's all going to be speculation. Do we think he's innocent? Do we think he's guilty? It's all going to be speculation. But for the rematch, there's going to be all types of testing, VADA or whoever, and they're going to be on top of it. And the fighters are going to make sure that they don't consume anything crazy that's going to pop. So for that rematch, both guys are going to be clean. What do we expect to happen? You're right, Uncle Paulie. Ryan, man, he got that power. He quick with them hands. And you got to be ready for it. Now, Devin Haney, that's the thing, man. He's been hurt. He's been wobbled a few times in his fights. And, if Ryan Garcia hurt you, there's a good possibility he's going to get you out of there. He got that type of power that if you're hurt, he's not going to let you recover. So, that's an interesting matchup. And I believe the magic question to figure out what the results are going to be is, can Devin Haney stay away from Ryan's power for the duration? Can he do it for 12 rounds? We'll find out if the rematch happens. I believe that rematch is going to happen. His Excellency Turkey Allow Sheik already stated that he's down with it, that he wants it. So I believe when they handle the Ryan Garcia being banned from boxing situation, I know he's banned for a year. So I guess maybe Devin is going to take one fight, do that, and from there rematch Ryan Garcia. I'm wondering what division that fight is going to happen in. Because, they both spoke about moving to 147. Maybe that rematch happens at welterweight. You never know. And, here's another one. Did y'all see Bozy Ennis? He said that they would be happy to take a fight with Teofimo. Now, Teofimo, he wanted to go to 147 to challenge Terrence Crawford. But we know that Terrence Crawford has already left to 154. He's never going to fight at welterweight again. So would Teofimo be willing to fight Boots? Bozy Ennis already, said it. He put it out there. Like, we'll take that fight in a heartbeat. Boots will take him to the disco. Spence head trauma. The thing about head trauma, my brother, is that that's a very general statement. You suffer head trauma when you get punched in the head. Every fight, guys get punched in the head, there's head trauma. So, that's a very generalized statement. But yeah, man, it's Teofimo. We've seen Teofimo Lopez show that he was willing to fight anybody in the 135 division. He showed it that he was willing to do it in the 140. Went straight for the, former undisputed champion Josh Taylor and took him out. Went after Regis Prograis. I mean, no, that was Devin Haney that went after Regis Prograis. Teofimo went after Subriel Matias and took, handle business. So we gotta see, man. We gotta see how old it. Oh shit! I said Subriel Matias. I'm sure. Who was one of you guys remind me, man? Who was Teofimo Lopez's last fight? I can't remember right now because I know it was Devin that beat Ruguru, and Subriel Matias got beat. Was it by Teofimo? Am I tripping? Teo is inconsistent. I think Teofimo has been pretty consistent, to be honest with you. Outside of his performance with Cambosos, I think he's been consistent. And I believe that Cambosos, he caught Teofimo off guard. He went in that fight thinking that he was going to blast him out of there. And when that didn't happen, he didn't really have a plan B. But if you look at the Teofimo versus Cambosos, the last few rounds, he had Cambosos running, surviving. Only problem is he decided to box too late into the fight. He was way behind on the cards. He could have won that fight. No, I'm talking about Subriel Matias' last fight. Who did Subriel Matias fight last? Who was it that beat Subriel Matias? Oh, it was Devin Haney. Right, it was Devin Haney that beat Subriel Matias. So, is Teofimo Lopez really down to going to 147 and fighting Boots? I don't think that's a good matchup. You see, that's why I try to tell people, you can't just go by the weight class. You got to go by the size of the fighter too. Like Teofimo Lopez can go to 147 and challenge some of the welterweight fighters, but Boots is a very big welterweight. He like 5'10" or some shit like that. He's huge. So I think if Teofimo fights Boots, that's going to be a matchup where he's going to have a lot of problems. And he probably gets slept because of that size difference. So that's why I say Crawford can fight Canelo at 168. Canelo's not a big 168 pounder. As big as people want to say, oh, he's huge. Like, Canelo's not a big guy. He's never been considered a big fighter. So it's all about the physical size, not just the number in the division. 168, 168. Just like it's not 147, 147. Teofimo is willing to fight Terence Crawford at 147. Is he going to be ready to fight Boots? I don't think so. Boots is the future. You know what? I agree with you. I think boxing is going to be ran by Shakur Stevenson and Boots. And you know what's funny? That Boots and Shakur, they used to be going to tournaments together all the time. Obviously, they wasn't in the same division, but they met as amateurs in tournaments all the time, and they used to win together all the time. So I think it's interesting that now both of them are undefeated champions, and there really isn't anyone out there that we can say can beat Boots, just like there isn't anyone out there we can say can beat Shakur. So I think they're both, where they're supposed to be at in their career. Both of them in their mid-20s. Shakur's already a multi-division champion, unified champion in multiple divisions as well. And Boots already snatched the title. And to my understanding, Boots is trying to become undisputed before moving to 154. That's why I tell people, man, listen, we want to see Terence Crawford versus Jaron Boots Ennis. We're not going to get that fight, my peoples. I'm sorry to tell you that. I wanted that fight badly just like everybody else. But I'm being realistic. Boots is in the beginning of his career. He's still trying to get a big name in the ring with him. He's still trying to prove himself. Terrence Crawford is at the tail end of his career. Terrence is focused on getting the most money, on getting the biggest names. And Jerron Boots Ennis is not, the biggest names. Now, Virgil Ortiz is also not one of the biggest names, but with him being Mexican and Bud being African American, that's the type of fight that you can build up and you can, that's a pay-per-view. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a pay-per-view and it's going to sell because, the Mexican fan base, they support their guy 100%. And then Terrence Crawford, who's already the pound-for-pound king, even though people don't want to give him those flowers, he's going to have support for this type of fight. So Virgil Ortiz versus Bud Crawford, I think that's a heck of a showdown. And of course, I expect Crawford to win that fight. Bud will make light work of Boots in his prime, but he's slowing down now, unfortunately. Listen, to be honest, I think if that fight was to happen right now, Crawford will put the Swiss beats on Jerron and his Boots. Put the beats on him. Crawford hasn't slowed down in a visible way. I haven't seen anything that tells me he's slowing down. So I think right now he will put the beats on Jerron Boots Ennis. Now, if they fight in 3 more years, when Crawford like 39, in 2 more years, when Crawford 37, 38, 39, then I got Boots winning that fight. But right now, I got Crawford over Boots, over everybody in the welterweight division, and over everybody in the 154 division. By the way, Jermell Charlo said that he's back. He said that he's back. If you remember when Bud brutally, savagely beat Errol Spence, he climbed on the ropes and pointed at Charlo. You next. You next. And Charlo was out there. What happened, fams? Remember Charlo did all that talking like, you need to worry about your division. You need to worry about over there, about Errol Spence. You ain't up here. I'm a champion up here. Well, now Terrence Crawford is a 154 division champion. So I want to see Jermell Charlo have that same energy that he had before. Y'all in the same division now. Was really good. NYC Alex was really good, my boy. Yo, yesterday, man, when you made that stuff up about the 2 weeks in the ICU, you disappeared on me. You disappeared. But now you already know your boy JSmiff got you with the facts. So you can't come with that. I'm going to make something up for you. You my guy, though. I appreciate you hopping on with me, though. So look, I understand what you're saying, that Crawford didn't seem his best versus Madrimov. But styles make fights, my guy. How you look versus one fighter has nothing to do with how you're going to look versus the next one. He made his debut in the 154 division. He fought a guy that hits hard. Madrimov is a lot better than people want to give him credit for. I'm talking about, for weeks before the fight, I had people hitting me up telling me, Jay, Madrimov is going to pull the upset. He's going to beat Crawford. I had people telling me that. There's people who've been following up on Madrimov who know him that been telling me, this guy's really good. People sleeping on him. But instead of people saying, Madrimov is better than we thought, everybody just saying, nah, Crawford didn't look good, and Crawford this and Crawford that. How about we give Madrimov his credit for being as good as he is? He's not a bum. He's a great fighter. I'm not even going to say great fighter. I'm not going to push it to that. I'm going to say he's a very, very good fighter. I know that fans like to downplay his 300 amateur bouts, but you only want to downplay that if you want to hate on Crawford. Look at Lomachenko. He had all those amateur bouts, and he was a great professional right off the gate. So these guys that have that amateur pedigree, when they turn pro, You're not talking about Bubs. This guy Madrimov can fight. Dude can fight. He's real good. So that's why. And then he had that jerky, constantly feigning style. The guy was very hard to time, yo. He was a good fighter. That's what I think happened. I didn't think Bud Crawford looked bad at all. I thought he faced a real good fighter. It was tough to beat him, and he found a way to win. Like, that's my assessment of that fight. Oh, nah. Saying Crawford looks slow and slouchy, that's something that you made up in your head to hate on Crawford. If we watch the fight, Crawford looked sharp as hell with his counter punches. His hands was fast as hell. And when Madrimov came in and he countered, what is you talking about? He looks slow and slouchy. Like, I don't know what you're making that up. He was slow and slouchy, just like Spence was in the ICU for 2 weeks. Like, that did not happen. We could look at the video, and Crawford was fast and sharp. Listen, older fighters need to stay active. That right there is not 100% accurate, my brother. You know why? Because older fighters already have a lot of mileage behind them. So the best thing for an older fighter is to fight once or twice a year. Why? Because you already racked up a lot of miles. You already taken a lot of punches to the head. And if you try to get too many fights to be active, you might end up being punch drunk. You'll be the one talking about, can't even talk right. So, the older you get, actually, the less active you need to be. If you got the type of money and you can afford it. What do you think Inoue does? How he get much exposure stateside? Yo, listen, Naoya Inoue is one of my favorite active fighters. The monster. If you look at my videos, if you go back and look at my older videos, I told people that he was gonna knock Cool Boy out. I told them. A lot of people say, yo, he's moving up in weight. Cool Boy's too big for him. I'm like, yo, the monster is gonna knock Stephen Fulton out. And y'all saw that was like a brutal knockout, a brutal stoppage. So I think that Naoya Inoue, his only problem is that he mostly fights in Japan. And I say his problem as far as popularity in the US of A. Because he's a superstar in Japan. He's super famous over there. And the thing is, because of his culture, because the way that they think, he doesn't really care about going to another country to try to become more famous. He's a big star in his country. He makes a lot of money. That's good enough for him. He doesn't care. He doesn't feel like I gotta go to the US to prove myself to people over there. And you know what? He made a very good argument. I saw an interview where he says, I fight over here because the best fighters in the lower divisions are over here. When the US has the best fighters in my division, I'll go to the US and I'll fight. And it's true. How many fighters can you name, American fighters, that are at that level below the 126 division? How many fighters can we really name? So Asian fighters, historically dominate those lower divisions. The 106 or 112 and 116, all of those divisions are dominated by Asian fighters. So that's why he was able to rack up all these titles, these accomplishments, fighting over there in Japan. The best are over there. So I'm not knocking him for wanting to fight for, in front of his peoples. And like he said, when they give me a reason to go fight over there, I'll go. So I think that's the reason why he's not more popular in the US. If he decided, I'm going to make a few fights over there, I'm going to fight in LA, in Vegas, in the Garden, it wouldn't be, a lot of time before everybody in the US is talking about the monster. He will be able to get the casual fan base to support him because he has that explosive style. He can knock you out with both hands. He needs to come. That's the thing. Why do you need to solidify your reign in the U.S. if you're already a multi-division unified champion, undisputed champion in multiple divisions, and you consider the pound for pound king by many all over the world? So you don't need to solidify anything in the U.S. He's already the guy. Matter of fact, look, you yourself are saying he's hands down the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. So that's it. He became the man without having a fight in the U.S. Oh, Bam Rodriguez versus Inoue, that fight is going to happen. Trust me. Because Inoue is going to stay on course and Bam is going to stay on course. They both going to keep winning. So Inoue, he's going to move up to 126. I don't know if he's going to make his debut in the division and fight Bam right away. But I expect him. You know what I'm saying? I expect him to fight Bam. And that fight, my peoples, might end up being in the U.S. of A. I think Bam is one that would bring Inoue to the U.S. Yo, Bam. Bam is a legend in the making. Bam is going to be a legend. What he's doing is incredible at 22 years old. The only thing that I don't like about Bam is that he's a very private person. He would have been a much bigger, he's supposed to be a way bigger star than what he already is. But if you notice, he's not really on social media. You don't really see him anywhere like that. And it's good that he's focused on on getting ready, on getting in the best shape of his life. But he's not really putting any time into growing his star power. And I think that, that's something that I think Bam needs to do. He needs to show his face a little bit more often. Let people see him. Let his fans see him. Interact with his fans. Get on Twitter, on Instagram, interact with your fans. I don't think he does that enough. As a matter of fact, right now he's not even using his Instagram. He closed out his Instagram. I'm talking about probably like a year ago. He's not been back on Instagram. So I think that's something that Bam has to work on. Put his image out there a little bit more. Please, I'm not sure what are you talking about. Like I know what. You kind of lost me there. Oh man, I wish I could have Bam on here, man. I wish we could talk boxing, man. But I'm telling you, Bam, with his accomplishments right now, he's supposed to be a bigger star because, what he's doing is pretty special. And if you look at the guys he's beating, right now, Bam is putting together one of the best resumes in boxing at 22 years old. And, if you talk to casual fans, they don't even know him. They don't know who he is. Okay, so what exactly is not making sense? Are you talking about what I'm saying about Bam is not making sense? Or because, I've been here for 45 minutes. I'm not sure exactly what is not making sense to you. American heavyweight called Richard Torres Jr. Oh, hell yeah, yo. Hell, yo. Come on, bro. Yo, Richard Torres Jr., he's the truth. I've been watching him since the amateurs. He got power in both hands. I love the way he let his hands go. The only thing, and I think they're going to be able to develop that. The only thing about Richard Torres Jr. is that he could get a little bit irresponsible with his defense. Sometimes I believe that he gets hit with shots that he should not be hit with. But, outside of that, I think that He's a very, very good fighter, and he's gonna be a world champion. He's gonna be a world champion. He has that crazy knockout power. He can sleep you. He can sleep you with both hands. So yeah, man, I'm a fan of his. Tyson Fury, the best heavyweight. Usyk is a monster, though. Well, I don't know why would you say. Listen, Tyson Fury was the best heavyweight, but after watching him get beat up by Francis Ngannou and then beat up by Usyk, that's it. His reign is over. Anybody who think that Tyson Fury, his reign is going to continue, you're gonna be disappointed. His reign is over as at the top of the heavyweight division. And I'm going to tell you why. In case you think that makes no sense, I'm going to tell you why Fury is no longer that dude. Just hear me out. And I want you to consider it. So, Tyson Fury, you guys know, is that guy who's super out of shape, right? Like he has this big belly. He has all this blubber everywhere, And here's what a lot of people don't realize. When you're younger, you can afford to be out of shape and still go and beat somebody's ass. But the older you get, the harder it is. So Tyson Fury, at his age, and showing up all out of shape like that, it's not easy no more. It's a wrap. He's not gonna do that forever where he could show up to a fight out of shape and still beat a guy up. It's not gonna go down like that no more. So now Tyson Fury, he doesn't have what it takes to beat somebody like Usyk. You know why? Because Usyk is a guy that doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, is in the gym all year round, is in great shape all year round. Yo, when you put those guys together, Usyk is going to be in better shape every single time. I believe if Tyson Fury fight Alexander Usyk 10 times, Usyk is going to beat him 10 times. Because that's it. Tyson Fury, his time, he's already on the decline. Tyson is on the decline, my peoples. You watch the MMA fighter put hands on him. That right there shows you. Yo, too much partying for Tyson Fury. And now it caught up to him. The fighters that get to his age and they still perform at an elite level, look at them. Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Terrence Crawford. Yo, these are fighters who stay fit year round, in great shape. You never in your life seen a fat Terrence Crawford. You never in your life seen a fat Floyd Mayweather. These dudes stay in shape, my peoples. So that's why they're able to get to 37, 38, 39 years old, 40 years old, and still perform. Tyson Fury, that shape that he's in, it's a wrap for him. These young lions coming up is going to eat him. And, Alexander Usyk is not even a young buck. But he's going to put the beats on him just because he's in such great shape. I agree with you. Usyk has that punch resistance, but he's slowing down. And when you start losing a step, these other guys that's only getting better, that's going to make the difference. When you take two fighters in their mid-30s or their late 30s, right? If you take a guy who's always in great shape, always in the gym, always looking shredded, and you put him against a guy who's never in the gym, who's always partying, who's always posting shit about him having a good time, when you put them together, you know what you get? Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. That's what you get. Errol Spence, what happens when he's not fighting? When he doesn't have a fight lined up? You can find a bunch of pictures of him with a little gut, a little bit overweight. You could tell he hasn't been to the gym. But when Terrence Crawford doesn't have a fight, where do you see him? In the gym, hitting the bag, sparring, running, working out. So when you take these two guys and you put them together, the guy that's living that lifestyle is going to whoop that ass 9 out of 10 times. That's the way the cookie crumble most of the times. So, you know what? Teofimo Lopez losing to Cambosos, at the moment, his stock fell for a little bit, but his stock is back up because he's kept making history after that. You know what I'm saying? Him moving up in division and beating Josh Taylor to become a champion, a unified champion again in a new division, his stock went right back up. So nobody's really worried about his loss versus Cambosos, especially because look, Cambosos lost right away that title. He didn't even defend it. Lost it right away to Devin. So Cambosos, while his biggest win of his career is Teofimo Lopez, that's pretty much it. He got dethroned, and it doesn't look like he'll be winning another title. Look how Lomachenko handled him in their last fight. Put the beats on him. So Cambosos went down, Teofimo went up. Gervonta gets big in between. Floyd is the best IQ fighter of all time, better than Mound. Yo, that's a good argument. You can make that argument. Floyd probably has the highest ring IQ we ever seen. But that's up to opinion. I think we can put a few people up there when it comes to ring IQ. Pernell Whitaker is up there. Muhammad Ali is up there. Sugar Ray Leonard is up there. So when it comes to ring IQ, there's a lot of fighters that is debatable. But Floyd Mayweather is definitely one of those fighters that you can say, this guy had the best ring IQ ever. I got no beef with that. Floyd is boxing. Okay, that's a reasonable opinion. But you have to understand that there's also going to be people who don't like Floyd Mayweather style and who say, no, that's not boxing. Boxing is more action, more exchanges, more whatever. So it all depends. Some people, see, a lot of times we forget this. When Floyd was fighting, there's a lot of people that used to say Floyd was boring. There's a lot of people that used to say Floyd runs too much. If we go on social media, we could look for the receipts where people saying Floyd was a runner. Isn't it interesting that now they say Shakur is boring and Shakur is a runner? And just like Floyd, Shakur is a multi-division undefeated champion. So the same things that they used to say about Floyd, they saying them about Shakur now, my peoples. But check it, y'all. I love Mayweather too, my guy. Mayweather is the GOAT. Check it, my peoples. I'm going to drop off now. It's